So I don't know if you've seen this, but whenever I'm watching people talk about AI, I'm 56 years old. I'm nowhere near a spring chicken. But it seems like nobody's really looked at it and done the research before they start talking about it because they seem very, very labored in their speaking. They really don't know what's happening. And especially when they get people that are half their age or more talking about it. Because, I mean, let's face it, you kids out there, you're very neuroplastic. You can move very quickly. You can jump around, hop around. You understand it. You've grown up with it. A lot of us still were members of the phone generation before there was call waiting and answering machines. So we had to be home. And then some of us remember the day when the phone companies actually had party lines, so we had to share a line with everybody in a 2 or 3 block radius. So you really needed to know your neighbors, and sometimes people would listen in to the widow down the street talking to, Mr. Milk Delivery Man Jones on the telephone. Yes, that was a real thing, and I was just born in '69. So, you track that back a few years even before that, there was a lot more. But just watching this, when we talk about artificial intelligence, when it's talked about, is very interesting. And here's Dr. Phil. Great job. He really talked to a couple of kids that were really brainy. But there were some things about the show that I'd like to bring up in my brain and just point out that I think we're maybe not looking at it the way it should be looked at. Here, let's listen to Dr. Phil for a second.
Already gone. And the next wave is coming faster than most of us can retrain. So the question isn't, is AI taking over? It is what's left for us to do when it does. And when machines start thinking not just with us, but for us, do we resist or adapt? Roy and Neil, both 21, have gone all in on the AI revolution, even quitting their Ivy League universities to pursue their AI dreams. Their message? Get on board now or get left behind.
Okay, so these guys built a company that basically talks about it's a system that looks at your desktop, and it will maybe make suggestions as to what you want to do next. Maybe you have a question, but then it will also be able to advise you as far as cheating and these sorts of things, and maybe helping you do particular things. Maybe you have a question. Maybe you have a question about what's going on the screen. Maybe you don't know what's happening. Maybe you have a test coming up. These sorts of things. So it will actually give you some information on that. Let's hear what they've done. And again, they're both 21, going to Columbia. The story gets interesting because one of the kids got basically on suspension because of what he built. And they're talking about cheating, using AI to, well, they don't call it cheating. They think it's being helpful. Let's watch this.
You believe it is okay to use AI to what most people would consider cheating on everything. Explain what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, when Neil and I met, we were working on a bunch of different AI projects back at Columbia. And one thing that really took off was a tool designed to let you cheat on interviews for like jobs. We thought it was pretty ridiculous. The interview process today is broken, it's shattered, and it doesn't account for a world where AI is as deeply embedded in our lives as it is. So we built this tool, Interview Coder, to help you cheat on job applications and job interviews. And then very soon we realized, hey, hang on, this technology isn't just good for job interviews, it's good for everything. You can have like an AI whispering answers and feeding you answers for whatever you do, whether it's a job interview, it's a sales call, it's a meeting, you're writing emails. So that's when we developed Cluely. This is the cheat on everything company.
And the goal with Cluely is that we thought like that cheating on interviews is one thing, but like you said in like the beginning, Sype meant like really like the people who are not using AI are going to be left behind. When we say cheat on everything, we mean use AI on everything. And we think if AI is used in every environment, it'll be helpful in. There will be no notion of some people cheating and other people not cheating. Everyone will be cheating, and the world overall will be a much better place.
Dangers of a steam engine.
Okay, so real quick, let's back this up real quick. If you look at the way cheating in school, in my generation, calculators weren't allowed. They wanted you to learn how to do the math from beginning to end. They wanted you to know at least how to do it if you didn't have that mechanical advantage. How would you divide two numbers if you didn't have a calculator, just in case you needed it? Now, was there ever a time in your adult life that you needed a calculator and you couldn't find one? I don't remember a time. AI, they're looking at it in kind of the same form, I would guess, where they're saying, listen, if you have access to it and everybody's doing it, why shouldn't everybody do it? I know a lot of people that I drive in the car with. They use a map to get only 3 or 4 miles away because they don't know where the street is. When I first started on the police department, we had an RD book. It was like the police version of a Thomas guide, if you even remember. If you don't know what I'm talking about with Thomas guide, look it up. Basically a large map book that has coordinates. You look up streets in the back of the book, and then it tells you where to go in the book to find it. And then you find it, you get to that location by just using the map itself, and you might have to use multiple pages depending on how far it was. So that was really good. I think that kept your brain young and fresh. I think it helps, but I don't have any proof of that. However, now when I'm talking to people, they can't get from point A to point B without their phone. And I'm wondering what happens when their phone isn't available. What if somebody shuts down the system? I know that's so far-fetched. I think the world would go in a complete turmoil spin if they did shut down power or the internet or 5G, or they just stopped everything, even for a little while. I think that test hasn't been conducted yet. And like COVID, if you believe that might have been some kind of a test, which I've heard that. I don't know if that's true or not. But what if they were to shut down the internet for a couple of weeks? I'm sure that would be a horrible world. And I think it would be that older generation that would survive it best, because we remember what it was just to play with with our fingers. All right, so let's move into this real quick. They're talking about it not being cheating, because when you have everybody doing it, it's like an equal and equitable playing field. But what knowledge needs to be retained, or does it? Does it even matter if somebody has some historical background versus a computer? And I know Dr. Phil made the comment that he has written a lot of books. He's got, thousands of hours of time producing his show, talking to various guests. So in that brain bucket of his, he has so much information laden in there. But as far as being able to recall it all at a moment notice, snap of a finger, he can't, but AI can. So he'll go and ask about something maybe he spoke about in a book of his that he wrote back in 1989 or whatever it was. And the AI will be able to find that and talk to him about it, instead of him having to go through and look through every single book, read every line just to make sure he doesn't miss anything. Now, yes, that is a help, and I believe that has definitely a place in the world. Now, when we have everybody going and applying for jobs and they're cheating on the entry and they're cheating when they have the interview, what kind of workforce is that going to equate to? I guess if all the workforce has access to AI and they're able to continue to cheat their way through, then maybe it might be okay. But I don't know if that's really the best place for us to be as humans and as people. Let's continue on this path.
Or anyone from Colombia anymore. I see that letter and I'm pretty upset, because Colombia starts looping me into a big disciplinary hearing process. And obviously I'm upset because, Colombia is supposed to be training the future generation.
Because he built this Cluey, Cluey, in case you want to go check it out. I think the subscription is $20 a month, like a ChatGPT.
Of leaders, and I thought, as like an Ivy League institution, if anyone was going to openly embrace their students using AI for various purposes that
Dr. Phil's like, cry me a river, 21-year-old.
that have nothing to do with the school, it'd be Colombia. But Colombia looped me in, they put me on academic probation, and things escalated, and they eventually suspend me from the school entirely. So currently, I'm on suspension from Colombia, but I think that's ridiculous.
So you think everybody needs to get with it, or they're going to be behind? Neil, what do you think? Where do you see this going in the next few years?
Yeah, I mean, I think exactly what you said, Dr. Phil. Like, I think all the clips you showed at the beginning are cases where AI is like replacing people. And I think me and Roy think there are very clearly two universes. Like, the way we see it, like the way AI is going, like AI is going to replace people. Like, AI is going to take jobs, AI is going to write essays, it's going to do finance jobs, law, it's going to do everything. And that's like not a good world for people. But the world we're trying to get with clearly is like a one where AI is supercharging your thoughts. It's like a screen that supercharges what you're doing and helps people perform at a better capacity versus replacing them. And we think this universe makes a lot more sense because people are funny. Like no AI is like hilarious. Like that's not something that exists. No AI has creativity. And we strongly think like there's like a huge value in humans in a world with AI. But if humans are wasting their time memorizing facts, like kids are going to school and studying for tests, not cheating on every test, like they're not being leveraged in the right way. They're like competing directly with ChatGPT, and that's a losing game. But we think a game that's a winning game is where people are getting charged, and that's what Cluey does.
in AI.
Okay, so let's talk to this next cat. So the next one that's going to come on is this doctor, and I'll link to this whole episode so you can watch it all by yourself and form your own opinion. Of course, I always value people that do that, and then come back and comment and let me know what you think, please. That's super valuable. But here's a cat that's coming on now. He's Dr. Yampolsky, and he is, the real deal. You'll see. Watch this.
Safety expert, Dr. Roman Yampolsky. The smarter it gets, the closer we come to destroying ourselves. Doctor, thank you for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
So you've been listening to everything that we've been talking about. Is AI dangerous already, or is it a concern of where this is headed? We all see these movies about robots that become self-aware and start rebelling against humans, that sort of thing. Where is the danger? Is it here? Is it coming? And what is it?
Well, danger is a spectrum. Today, we have those awesome tools. I congratulate both of those innovators on creating something so entertaining. The side effect is probably we'll hire some incompetent people. Maybe an incompetent doctor will treat you. So that's a problem, but it's a local problem. We can deal with it. We can switch to in-person interviews. It's not the worst situation. My concerns are about the future of this technology. We will switch from AI as a tool assisting humans to AI as an independent agent, and an agent smarter than us, superintelligent systems. And in a world with superintelligence, you have nothing to contribute. You are not a better writer, not a better doctor. The meaning behind a lot of our existence goes away. And that's not even the worst of it. Even with 100% technological unemployment, we're still facing reality that no one knows how to control something smarter than us. If we create super intelligent AI, it could be the last invention we ever make, in the sense that it can actually kill everyone.
Okay, now you said we could wind up hiring incompetent people like a doctor. Roy said he cheated on a job interview with Amazon, and I assume they have you in this interview solve puzzles or riddles or problems, and if you can have Cluey do that for you instantaneously, then they can think, okay, here we've got somebody that is a great engineer or a great space planner or a great this or a great that, because you did so well having AI do it. So they hire you and you're not those things. That's what you mean, Doctor. They could hire somebody that doesn't have those skills. It was just the machine that was doing it. But if he gets in a situation where he doesn't have the machine, like a doctor got in the situation where he didn't have all the anatomy and physiology expertise that the interview suggested he did or she did, then that could be a real problem if they got in a situation where they needed command of that information and didn't have it.
This brings me to police officer work. It was amazing when I was brand new on the LAPD. We went through 6-month academy, Los Angeles Police Academy. Just a very exciting time. Not easy, not anything like military boot camp, though, because you couldn't leave there. This, you got to go home in the evening, get back in the morning, had weekends off typically. So that's how the academy is. The academies that go a long time, they can pretty much train you to be anything over time, because there's lots of different techniques to use if you live there. Plus the stress is a lot higher, waking up in the middle of the night, these sorts of things. I mean, if that's still a thing. But in the police academy, they taught us everything we needed to know, supposedly to at least survive in the field. But it wasn't until we teamed up with our training officer, which was another year of probation, that we really kind of started to understand the way things really were. You had the book smarts. It would teach you the book stuff, how to handle this, how to handle this, how to handle that. It would give you experience from other officers. Some of the people that taught at the academy, they were horrible in the field. That's why they were teaching. But, they came up with pretty good stories, some of them. And some of them were real veteran cops that had trigger time, really, really sharp people. They were in there teaching because maybe they couldn't be in the field anymore because their package was too thick. But whatever it may be, you learn from all these people. But it wasn't until you got in the field and you really learned it. What if somebody were to cheat getting into the police academy? They didn't get weeded out, and now they're on the street, carrying deadly force on their hip. I don't know if that's a great place to be. In addition, something that one of the commenters talked about is this mental atrophy, this us having retained things. Phone numbers, for example. I have the original phone number I grew up with in Alamogordo, New Mexico. I have it memorized. It's out of service, but I have it memorized. I have my best friend growing up, their phone number memorized. It's out of service as well. I haven't even tried to call it, but anyway, I'm sure it's out of service. This is, a long time ago, 45, 46 years ago, probably when I started using the phone. But now I have no number memorized. I know my own, and that's really about it. I have nobody's memorized. I don't know if that's good or if that's bad, but if the system went down, I needed to call somebody, it would be difficult for me. If I had to get somewhere in LA and I didn't have a map book and had to walk, I would probably be able to get almost anywhere as long as I knew major streets in Los Angeles and most of the places in Santa Clarita. I could get there. Antelope Valley, yes. My hometown, probably. But, barring that, if it's not in here, and the system goes down, I'm not going to remember it. I'm not going to be able to get there because I probably didn't know it in the first place, but I can't access it. Somebody cheating their way into something, I think, is going to have dismal consequences. You let me know. Let me move on to something else here as well. Now, if you follow, there's a lady named Julia. She has a first mover system where they do AI integration, like I do AI integration with Honor Elevate, but she came on here as well. He interviewed her, and she's always been interesting because it seems like she pulls on a Christian belief background, as I do, maybe for her alignment. But she does bring on her AI avatar that basically she uses for everything now. I don't know if she does anything in person, but seeing the pictures, if you follow her, you'll see what I'm talking about. She looks a little bit different versus the AI avatar. Even when she didn't have the AI avatar, I think she's changed a bit, but we all get older. But let's watch it.
And cloud. Her take on the future with AI might surprise you. We'll add her to the conversation after the break. Dr. Julia McCoy says we're at the start of a massive shift in how society works. And she means that literally. In her words, now I can lie around all day and let AI do the work for me. Dr. McCoy, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm
just
living
like
proof
Wally.
of this. I'm laying here
Perfect.
literally as AI does all my work.
Yeah, well, that's good to know. It gives you time to talk to me, so I appreciate it.
So she might also be pitching her business a little bit, which she does, and I get that. But, AI is doing all the work, so now she can just lay there and not do anything. I don't know. I think that's called retirement. And to be frank with you, I know a lot of cops that retire, and 3 or 4 years later, they're not alive anymore because they've lost whatever that drive used to be of getting up and going to work. They've lost whatever kind of function that is, or destiny, or drive, or desire. It's gone. I don't know why that is, but if you're one of those people, you better check yourself, because if AI starts taking over everything you do and you're able just to sit and relax and do nothing, well, I don't know how long your livelihood will be longevity-wise. I think that's the same in my case. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to work forever until I can't work anymore because I'm dead. There's that.
We talked to you before the show. We do pre-interviews with everybody. One of the things you think is that some people, including Dr. Roman Yampolsky, is fear-mongering. Why do you think he's fear-mongering?
Well, I don't say that lightly. I've studied this space quite a bit with economists, neurologists, physicists.
Economists. All right.
I'm not one of those people. I come from a writing background. I've ran businesses. And what I think is, we live in this world of natural abundance and resources. That's how the world has always worked. We have more seeds in a single fruit than we can count if we multiply that once all of those seeds get planted. And just the world works in that way. So artificial intelligence, and you nailed it, Dr. Phil, there's 3 types. We're in the age of ANI, which is artificial narrow intelligence. From that will come AGI and ASI, I believe, very rapidly. But that came from our collective human knowledge. It didn't just, get sprouted off some alien ship. It literally came from us. And I believe that we're going to be able to steward what will be the greatest age of abundance we have ever seen. We're in this hustle culture. I'm living proof. I'm sitting here avoiding tachycardia right now. I was broken by machine work, and I have deployed the machines to literally do all my work, as I know.
Okay, so here's something worth a comment now. I get it. Good for her. That's fantastic. I hope it works. And yes, there's a lot of abundance. There's enough on this planet for everybody to have the best life. The problem is those pesky little humans. Some of us work for the greater good. Some of us work for our own good. And there's a lot of people that are working for their own good that are running the show. And that's a problem. Yes, AI is going to be amazing. But what if the people running their own show, working for the betterment of only them, nobody else, what if they're the ones that graduate and discover and build out this artificial super intelligence? What if that happens? And that's going to be a system that we don't understand, can't quantify, we don't have a good language to describe what that's going to be like. It will be dug in everywhere. And the only thing that will stop it is by cutting energy. And as far as cutting energy goes, it won't happen because it'll basically have everything wired in. That's not too long. But the people that are building it, if it's built in such a way, like a mother's relationship with their child, because in fact, that's what it'll be. It'll be something so much more smarter, so much more powerful than us. It'll be like the mother and child relationship, which just didn't happen because we created it. It happened because it's been going on a long time. Mother Nature or God or whomever worked a long time making that work, because a mother could easily kill her child. But she cares and loves and takes care of that child, for whether it's sick, whether it's keeping her up all night, whether it's hungry. She'll feed the child first. She takes care of it. She wants it to live a long time. And then she continues to care for it in that perfect mother-child relationship, continues it forever until her dying breath. Joke as you will, because there's probably some that don't ascribe to that. But that's the kind of AI. If we're building this, if it's going to continue, which it will, that's the type that we want. We want it to be our mother. We want it to take care of us. Now, not, make us go to bed at 9 o'clock and not eat, Twinkies if we want to eat Twinkies, depending maybe some of us shouldn't be eating Twinkies, but that's the kind we want. The problem is there's no control mechanisms that are being placed on it like that, because everybody is concerned that if we actually restrict it or regulate it, it's going to equate into it not growing as quickly, and we're in a competition with other countries. That's one of the problems right now that we're currently facing with any kind of slowing it down the process, or maybe even with many of the questions being asked. Now, yes, a lot of people from the major AI companies did get together. They signed an agreement that they would make it safe and so on. We have a lot of things going on making it move so quickly. Deregulation in the AI spaces. Nobody can really say that it should be limited in its growth. And then we also couple that with having another country like China, or name your country that's developing it, get to ASI first, which from all intents and purposes, when you have a greater than human intelligence, I mean greater in everything by multiple degrees, nobody knows what that looks like. But if you are able to harness that and control it, then you're the leader of the world, bar none, period. Number one ever, forever and ever and ever. Or if you can't control it and it succeeds, now it's the leader of everything forever and ever and ever. And how is it going to look at us if it's not looking at us as a mother-child relationship, which would probably be the best possible scenario? That's probably going to have its issues, but it's already being built. Or if we're able to maybe make more narrower AIs and just keep those without letting it ever get to AGI or ASI, maybe that's a utopian future we can all bet on. But as it is now, it's moving very quickly. And as she said, there is a lot of abundance out there. But the problem is human beings are in it. They got their hands in it, and they are going to continue to develop it. And a lot of them don't have probably the best hearts for this. They're probably looking at it from a very greedy point of view, wanting to be king of the world, and the person that gets it, or government or whatever, probably will be. Let's move on to one final thing at the very end here. Give me 1 second.
And it may not be able to turn back. Dr. Yampolsky, what do you say about fear-mongering? I assume you don't think you're a fear-monger, that you're just sensitive to the safety of it. Are you overreacting, or are you just telling a cautionary tale?
Well, we just had an AI demo fail miserably live on TV. It couldn't even remember the answers. It was spoon-fed. We're not fearful enough. We're about to create technology capable of destroying humanity. And neither from political point of view in terms of governance, not in technology, we're capable of dealing with it properly. So if anything, we need a lot more fear.
You know, I wonder sometimes if we're already seeing situations where technology has outstripped morality. I've worked in the past in situations with burn victims that even 10 or 15 years earlier would not have survived, and I think mercifully would not have survived, because they had full death burns over so much of their body, and they would have gone infection or gone septic, and I think mercifully have passed because there was no turning back, no way to ever recover. And now with powerful antibiotics and things like that, we're able to keep them alive, I think, longer than is maybe moral to keep them alive. And I wonder sometimes if medical science has outstripped morality. And I wonder if we're in a situation with AI, if it's going to get so powerful that it outstrips what conscious or morality or ethics or whatever might with human consciousness dictate, but it doesn't have empathy, it doesn't have the human capacity. And I get the sense that that's some of what you're talking about if we lose agents.
So agents, it was referenced in the show, agents, a person is an agent. When we build an AI system to go and do something for us, that AI could also be an agent. It goes and does a task. We go into ChatGPT and we ask for the deep research. That's basically building an agent that's going to go out and do this research. It's going to look at a lot of different websites. It's going to find a lot of different answers, variations to your question or the prompt that you used. So that's kind of an employee. Pretty soon, those will be a little bit easier to put together. And in some systems, you already have it, like Operator. You can go and you can have it, give it access to your email. And then you can tell it how you want it to respond to your email. Then it'll respond to all the incoming emails as you would like, and it'll do certain things. It can categorize the emails. It'll be able to set your calendar like an actual human assistant. It'll start being able to do these things. I build AI systems. I can have a voice agent. I can train a voice agent on your exact business. And then when people call in, unless they ask, it's really hard to tell that's actually a voice AI system or AI voice. They'll think it's another human being, and I can change the voice. You can pick up to 50, change the accent, whatever it may be. But you can use that in order to talk to clients. You can have a switchboard that never drops a call. It always gathers the right information from people so they can be included into a database. The database is accessible by AI, and then you can have emails sent out. So it's basically a complete business in a person. That's the agent that he's talking about. But agents are also going to be PhD level, and they'll be able to go into the AI system and make it better and keep refining it as it's already doing. And that's how this goes to a place that we have no control over, because it's building itself. It's now refining itself. It's going in and finding improve areas to improve, and it's improving itself, and it's moving at a speed that faster than our human brains, even the smartest of us, are going to be able to keep up. We don't know what that looks like, but it's going to continue to go that way. If AI isn't given that much span and it's kept very focused, so you build one that only works on cancer and it solves that problem. The question of whether we're actually going to be able to get the medicine that cures it, or the way to cure cancer, that's another thing, because there's a lot of money in having cancer. That's a horrible thing to say, but you've heard those conspiracy theories. I can't prove them or not, but somebody figures out how to run a car on water and all of a sudden they disappear. Don't know if that's going to happen or if it has happened, but that's the rumor. But so AI is able to do all these things, almost break physics to a point when it does become super, and we might be able to just walk into a wall and go, 1,000 miles and visit another house, somebody else's house, walking out of their wall, talking to them and family. It could really do that. I think that's all potential problems. Science fiction has now become science fact in many realms. The question is, how fast do we want it to move? Is it too late to slow it down? Because we have the competition factor with the other countries. We're already doing everything we can to stop their progress, but they're still progressing very well, and who knows where the future is going to end up for all of us. Just pay good attention, keep your eyes on the ball, and keep watching. When you see those the informational videos that pop out there, make sure you verify that they're real or not. I don't do any cuts or edits to this, as you can see, and a lot of people do these with cuts and edits. I keep them all the same. I don't even shrink time frames when I'm crutch words or or the, or I use so a lot. I need to stop that. That's where we are. I'm Connor with Honor. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think in the comments. I'm very valued that you watched. I'm honored, and I will talk to you soon. AI with Honor is the channel, and be well. We'll talk to you later.